Hello, this is Kim Ant. Things that actually exist. Part 2. Realistic tone. The point of this lecture is to understand concepts that help you use color in a practical way. Rather than focusing on scientific theory, this lecture focuses on the role and importance of color within drawing. Let's start by understanding the concept of value. In reality, color is made up of hue, saturation, and value. Hue refers to the type of color, such as red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and violet. Saturation refers to the intensity or vividness of a color, like the difference between neon colors and pastel tones. Value can be understood as the range of brightness from white to black. Every color also contains its own value. In drawing, hue and saturation are mostly removed, leaving mainly value-based expression. That's why light and dark relationships tone become important. Because graphite itself lacks strong hue and saturation, the material mainly allows the expression of value differences. In the end, tone must be expressed through value control alone. Since we do not live in a black and white world, capturing realistic tone can feel difficult. However, we can still feel realism in black and white photographs because value is part of every color. Even when hue and saturation are removed, matching value accurately to reality can still create a strong sense of realism. So far, we've looked at the role value plays in real-world situations. Next is an analysis of how we perceive realism when looking at a subject. A subject can be divided into form and color, or, in drawing, value. We can separate it into these two elements. Which has a greater influence on our sense of realism, form or color? If we limit form to silhouette alone, my personal interpretation is that color has the stronger influence. From observation, realism often felt stronger through tonal information than through form itself. For example, when we look at a very distant object, its form becomes unclear and its colors become hazy. When form loses clarity, only the silhouette remains, while colors begin to blend together. If we intentionally separate color and form in this situation, we can better understand why distant objects still feel realistic. In my observation, color carried noticeably more weight. Even when the form is unclear, color still triggers associations in our mind. When night falls and only silhouettes remain, it becomes difficult to distinguish objects clearly. Let's define this reduction in recognizable information as perceptual loss. If we compare the perceptual loss of form and color, from observation, the loss caused by colors becoming dark and monochromatic felt greater than the loss caused by simplified silhouettes. To summarize, when objects become difficult to recognize at night, I believe darkened color plays a slightly larger role than simplified form. Most people have probably experienced suddenly mistaking something for a ghost while zoning out. I once almost fainted after seeing a small black plastic bag sitting on top of a large white one near a stream in the woods. There are many experiences similar to this. A vaguely human-like silhouette combined with suggestive color patterns naturally creates that illusion. Looking back, it wasn't the form itself that was shocking, but the associations created by the arrangement of tones and colors. Of course, form and color overlap in reality, so they are difficult to separate completely. Still, these observations suggest that color alone can create a convincing sense of realism in drawing. Let's summarize. Form is important, but in realism, color carries greater weight, and in drawing, that becomes tone. To understand tone, the concept of value light and dark is essential. I'll explain how to plan and apply this in practice later on. These terms may sound difficult or unfamiliar at first, but if you think through them step by step, they become much easier to understand. Rather than focusing on scientific explanations, I'm sharing the aspects I personally found most important through drawing. If anything feels confusing, feel free to leave a comment. Great work today.